2, 1.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Gitlab's 13.3 release retrospective. And today we are still going to continue using the new format of the retro. And all the summaries were recorded in the video. The link is in our retro doc. And also the slide deck is also available for your review. And we are going to jump into the summaries of the previous improvement tasks at the first topic. So CZ, you are the first one.
Yeah, in last retrospective, the team wanted to track the improvements on updating our document together with the code changes. I think in 13.3, we had at least 4 MRs that had documentation update together with the code change. I think the team has been doing good work on this, and we'll continue monitoring the practice. Yeah, thanks.
Great. Jake. Jake, are you online? Okay, I'm going to verbalize for Jake.
Sorry, I just got here. I can go.
Okay.
So we had a task last time to kind of expand on improving collaboration, updating our process and documentation within the plan stage. So we had a number of conversations about that and made a few positive changes, reinstated the monthly waiting rotation, and updated our team page to kind of ensure we're adhering to the GitLab best practices. Team members mentioned in our retro this month that they're feeling more supported and that communication was better this milestone over last. So some good progress there.
Nice work. Thank you, Jake. Over to you, Jerome.
Hey, everyone. Last time we had an action item to update the retrospective process based off of the feedback. So we've gone ahead and done that. So each retrospective now has 3 parts. The first is the team retrospective, which is your individual retro issues. We have the retro summary, which is the video that Chun recorded. And then we have the retro discussion, which we're all currently a part of. We've also outlined the moderator's responsibility. We extended the deadline for the retro summary to the 3rd of the month. And we made the retro discussion async, where we can start that discussion beforehand. And we also added the ability to crowdsource and vote on retro topics.
Cool, a lot of great improvements over the last release. Thank you, Jerome. And over to you, Christopher.
Yeah, we had a goal to get everybody, every engineering manager through a DIB training, and we didn't quite make it there, but we're pretty close. So we have 2 left. So we got to 95%. So we'll be looking to close that out here in the next couple of weeks.
Thanks for the update. And the last item from the last retro, Roman.
All right, so Roman's not here, so I will just verbalize. He mentions have a dedicated retro about a recent high visibility feature release and derive some action items to smoothen this process with the focus on the following. There's an issue here to track. Clear rollout plan around high visibility features that can be defined with product and is driven by engineering, and better communication across departments to avoid surprises.
Thank you, Dara. Yeah, that's the conclusion of the ops from the last retro action items. So now let's move on to our discussion topics. Please note that 7 minutes per each topic. So let's get started. We are 1 minute ahead of the schedule. So the first topic is given the global events in the US, Belarus, and elsewhere that added to the existing levels of stress and anxiety over the pandemic, what can we do to keep the team members in good shape, meanwhile keep our day-to-day work efficient? So Jerome, you have something to say?
Yeah, I think what we're doing by putting family and friends first is a good first step. And I think it's really important that we, especially as engineering managers or engineering management, continue to lead by example. So taking that time off. One thing that the growth team is doing is we're also putting together team days. So we basically have a day carved out where we, play games online, or we sort of do like a tour of where everyone's from, or we do a cooking activity, things like that, just so that we're doing some things outside of our day-to-day work.
That's a good point. And Christopher, you want to verbalize your comment?
Yeah, just FYI for folks, the paid that particular day is documented obviously in the handbook, which I put the reference in. And I was just looking at it, didn't notice how we actually determine when it is, and did ask some folks. And basically the way the current process works is someone creates the MR and assigns it to SID for potential evaluation and discussion. So it's something to think about if you feel like your particular team or a set of teams really feel like it's needed. That's kind of the current process from that perspective.
Yeah, thanks. Craig, you have something while you're typing?
Yeah. Memory team did something similar to what Jerome mentioned earlier, and we're looking into future options as well. So we did a kind of an asynchronous home tour where everybody posted pictures of where they live, where they work. That was fun. And then I wasn't able to join because most of my team is in Europe, and it would have been like 2 a.m. my time, but they did a virtual gaming team game day where they found some game, like I'm forgetting what it is right now, but it ran in the browser. So they were all able to play together on this video game. They spent a few hours doing it. It was fun. And then we've actually had a happy hour as well on a Friday after a release. It's something we've planned to formalize a little more, like celebrate each release on a Friday. Something we haven't done. I'm going to follow up. Thanks for the reminder, Jerome. That's great.
That's nice. John?
Yeah, so recently we had a team social where we did a bit of a reflection of what we achieved over the last few months. And I think in the context of what everybody's been going through in the world over the last few months, it's important to look back and realize that even despite all of that, we've made some great progress, and that we can still celebrate all of this. So having a positive view over the time that has been, it's beneficial as well. And yeah, I'll mention also that we did enjoy some pizza on the call as well. So having that social aspect to keep the team bonding together, I think is really important during this time.
Yeah, it looks like many teams are doing something similar, like holding some social events and also, get the time off from our family and friends day and also PTO time. So this sounds good to keep people in good shape. And Dara, yeah.
I just wanted to add, just being there for our team members and listening. A lot of times different team members are going through different teams depending on where they live. So sometimes if someone wants to talk about it, just to listen.
Good point. Other thoughts and other things we can share together within the whole department?
I can bring up one that actually has come up quite a few times. Explaining what's going on, it kind of adds on to what Darvis said, explaining what's going on in your city. So I've had multiple people ask me if Portland is on fire and just complete anarchy at this point in time. And so explaining that, no, it's a very small, if you look at the maps, like 4 square blocks of downtown that occasionally get some of the protests, it's not on fire. We can safely walk the streets still. So yeah, to add on to what Darvis said, just talking about it often helps. Even if you're not affected, other people might think you're horribly negatively affected. So to clear up, Portland's safe. We're all happy and healthy, and most of us live far away from the few blocks of protests that happen downtown.
I approve.
Chen lives on the other side of downtown for me, so we've got 2 aspects of it. Portland's just fine. We're not on fire.
Indeed, and actually I went to downtown Sunday while I was taking a PTO time the week, and went downtown in the daytime. It was pretty quiet, very peaceful, quiet there. It's just every night things pick up. Cool. We spent about 6 minutes on this topic. Any other thoughts or something to share with the whole team? Looks like some action items for all the teams will be, do some social calls and share the knowledge, share what's going on, and also encourage people to take time off, be flexible with their schedules. So I will summarize that in the action items there. Let's move on to the next topic. Ricky, you want to verbalize your question?
Sure. So I was just wondering how everybody is using kind of the various dashboards and monitoring tools that the infrastructure department makes available. Now that we have feature flags and a lot of teams are using them more deliberately, kind of opens the door to engineers monitoring their change as it happens in production. So for my group in particular, I've included a process, very lightweight, just around when you flip a flag, maybe go check some of the dashboards to see what kind of an impact it has had. And I was just wondering if there's a formal process or mandate to do this somewhere else that I wasn't able to find. And besides the feature flag rollout template, which contains this in a way. And I think there were some responses.
I don't think Tom is online. He's in APAC hours, so I will verbalize his comments here. There is also a proposal to use the infrastructure change management process for feature flag rollouts. So everyone, please feel free to check out the link of the change management process. Other opinions and experience to share? Looks like this is a very unique question from Ricky. Okay. If
I'll verbalize my question before before typing it there.
Actually, let's bring bring this topic.
Yeah. Sorry.
Jean, let's just bring your topic to live because there's no comments for Ricky's question.
Well, before we move on to my topic, I just quickly want to ask: has there been training previously around the various dashboards that are available? I'm not aware of any training material, but it would be useful to know or have a handbook page link that has some reference material around training about how to use the dashboards, specifically around knowing how to monitor key aspects once you do flip a feature flag, for instance.
Yeah, for my case in particular, I previously experienced using monitoring tools in Grafana and other dashboarding utilities. So I was able to kind of figure out the dashboard system that is available. And that I found to be really useful when we turned on a feature flag for a previously unused feature. You could kind of see the impact in real time as the dashboard displayed it. So I thought that was really good.
So are you talking about when you enable this, say, for instance, in staging, or which environment?
Specifically, I've done this with production, but I believe the staging dashboards are also available for enabling it in staging.
Okay, and then were you working with an SRE in parallel to this, or were you just doing this on your own?
It was just on my own in this case.
All right, so let me take the action item to work with infrastructure. They should be able to provide us with minimally a template of here are the dashboards we should go look at and understand. To my knowledge, I don't think we have something like this. And ideally in those situations, if you're enabling something in production, we probably want to make sure, one, they're aware, and two, potentially your stable counterparts, potentially either online or has somebody representative from the infrastructure team when we're doing this. So that's a good call out, because I think that's a gap we have right now. Is that the type of training people are looking for? Which dashboards to look at, who to engage, that kind of thing?
Yeah, personally, I remember in the onboarding there were some coverage of all of the metrics and monitoring that we had, but and I've dealt with them before, but I feel like I've maybe forgotten that, and it was maybe not a high level overview of like here are all the things, and perhaps it's a bit dated. It would be good to have a refresher or a reminder to look at existing information that I may not know where it is or I've forgotten.
Cool.
Yeah,
I reported one action item for Christopher.
Thanks, John.
We are how much time do we still have? It's 9:16. We probably have like 5 minutes to go through next discussion if people are okay with that. Okay, let's go ahead with John's topic for discussion. John, you want to verbalize?
Yeah, so this came out of our retro last time, and 2 team members had challenges at various times getting their GDK running, and lost a bit of time to that, and so it also I became aware that there's a GCK, and it just, the thought came to me, like, we've got these 2 different kind of like development environments right now, whether we should settle on one of them and put combined effort into them. I'll admit I'm not a developer by day anymore, and so my opinion is not that worthwhile in this, and some other engineers should really think, just from a, if I'm looking at the issues with the GDK that has frequently been reported in the past, and maybe we need to add a bit more effort, kind of like effort onto making it more user-friendly and stable for team members. When a team member loses a day or 2, that's quite a big impact on that. Or maybe even have, I know there's great support in Slack, and I know Stan regularly helps people out with the GDK issues, but maybe we could have like a GDK on call or something. I'm just throwing out ideas.
Chad, you want to verbalize your comments?
Sure. As far as the GitLab Compose Kit, I think they serve different purposes. For example, I'm a Mac user and a heavy JetBrains IDE user, so I wouldn't want to take the file system performance hit, and I'll often spin up the local server in the IDE for debugging, which I think would be at least more difficult, if not impossible, with the Docker approach. But having said that, I also do have frequent issues with the GDK. For example, it seems like I mostly work in the dev repo, so I'll come back to it, after a month or so, and usually there's something broken. Often the integration tests just don't work anymore, the browser integration tests, and I have to debug them. So if it were more bulletproof, that would be greatly appreciated.
CZ?
Yeah, I use GDK, but I looked at all the participants in this meeting, mostly are managers. I felt that the GDK and the GCK probably more affect the daily workflow of all our engineers and others. So I'd like to collect more information from broader audiences. So.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks, CZ. I want to verbalize my item is, shall we actually come up or compile a list of the top pain points of GDK so that the tooling team, the GDK team actually can prioritize their work to resolve those pain points first? Don't know if that makes sense or. Christy.
I'm just noting that the UX department uses the GDK specifically a lot. I didn't even know there was a GCK. And we probably have different use cases than developers. So we just want to make sure that that doesn't get forgotten as decisions get made. And then I'll just remind everybody that GDK has only one engineer on it. So yeah, I know they ask for feedback a lot, but that might be part of why progress on it is, not as fast as y'all ideally would like. So more collaboration on that maybe would be helpful.
Yeah, I think you're right, Chen. I think we need to get some feedback on this and see whether or not we have a more pervasive problem. So GDK is in the ecosystem team, so I don't see anybody who would be the DRI for it. But maybe or not maybe, but can you take a action to track them down and get them pushed for giving us feedback for the next retro? Because I think that'd be useful, is to kind of summarize overall feedback from the community.
Sure. I already added a Y action item there. I'll follow up with the ecosystem team.
Sure. And I'm not asking you to follow up on the total issue. I'm asking you to get them signed up to follow up.
Yeah, I understand. Clement. Oh, no verbal. Okay. Any other opinions or suggestions here? Okay, so looks like that's the end of our the improvements for next release. There are 5 action items here, and all the DRIs are called out. Please follow up, and we'll review the progress in 13.4 retro. And the last note for everyone, please scroll up to the top of the file. This doc, there is an issue for the iteration, or there's a retro of the retro for the 13.4 retro. So please open that issue and get your comments in that issue so that we can make further improvements for 13.4 retro. Thank you, everyone, and thanks a lot for your comments and inputs for the retro for the 13.3. Thank you.